So I've come to Fushimi Inari to ask a very simple question. What are things like without tourists? How are shopkeepers and tourist trade being affected? Let's find out. So I'm actually here at the entrance of Fushimi Inari, and one of my first observations is how few people there are in general. For the normal, I guess, for the normal visitor who's coming from abroad, they'd probably think it's quite packed. But as somebody who's been here many times, I can tell you that this feels like maybe, especially at this time, it's now midday, it feels very much like it would be maybe a quarter or under half of the amount of people that would normally be here anyway. And my observation, unfortunately, is that there are many tourist stores and souvenir shops, etc., that are pretty much empty, although there is a little bit of trade from domestic visitors, etc. So they are making some money, but obviously there is a huge lack of tourists. Don't get me wrong, it is quite packed. There are times where it's very, very full, and walking through those torii gates are nearly impossible. So imagine what it would have been like with the additional tourists here. However, I must say that I've managed to get quite a few nice photos where the torii gates are actually empty, something that would have been pretty much impossible or very difficult to do before. I've been talking to some of the shopkeepers here. They didn't want to be on video. That's absolutely fine. And yeah, they've been telling me that obviously they do miss tourists, that they hope that tourists to return, and that actually this is just a fraction of the amount of people that come. And it's Obon, and that usually during Obon it would actually be busier, according to one of the shop attendants in one of the souvenir shops. So yeah, quite an interesting experience coming here after 2.5 years of not being able to come to Japan, and after a long time of not being in Fushimi Inari Shrine, one of Japan's top spots, maybe one of the most famous places that tourists, domestic and international alike, will be traveling to. And although, as I mentioned earlier, it is busy, it isn't busy. It's difficult to explain if you've never been here before. If you're a returning visitor, then and you were here now, you'd certainly notice the difference of how quiet things are. Browsing shops is quite easy. There are some stores that are pretty much empty with nobody in. Occasionally there are pockets of people, of groups of people that are you know, entering stores, friends, etc. So yeah, quite sad. It's been a sad experience, but also a very privileged one, I guess, to be here. Interestingly, I've actually bumped into 2 or 3 different tour groups. two people were actually traveling on the, well, not on their own, they were as part of a tour, but they had some free time. And when I asked them how much free time they had, they said that they were in a rush. They were a Spanish couple. They gave me a little bit of their time, and they basically explained that they were given between 15 minutes and half an hour to sort of like explore and do whatever they wanted to do, and they were heading back to the meeting point. So that gives you one little bit of an idea. But then at the same time, I also met a much bigger group, and when I spoke to the American guy, he said that he felt that the tour was going really well and that he had plenty of free time to do whatever he wanted. That he would basically be as part of the tour in the main tourist destinations, etc. But that once he was given free time, he would be given 1 hour or 2 hours where he would be in contact with the tour guide, if that makes any sense. So interesting, two very interesting examples of people traveling on these organized tour groups anyway. I've stopped by this coffee shop and I've actually had this really good conversation talking about his experience of how, you know, there are no tourists, no foreigners coming in, and I've really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope that you will too. Here it is. Domestically, why are less people coming to FUSHIMI INARI and Kyoto?
Domestically?
Yeah.
They should be scared or cautious about COVID. And this place will be, I shouldn't say popular, but it's popular for the people who's older, before that. And yeah, that's why. They should be worried about COVID.
And there are no tourists, no inbound tourists, so has that affected this area?
Yes, a lot. Yes, like including my shops, it's affected a lot. I mean, usually before now COVID-19, we have like 80% of my customer in this shop. It's like overseas tourists. So, yes.
Wow. And you mentioned that because there are some people in the shop now, but you mentioned that you were some before I came. How long were you waiting for?
Yeah, I was like waiting 2 hours, no customer. So it's kind of this kind of weather, still, you know, not bad weather, but it's pretty quiet.
And Japan, a lot of people in Japan think that tourism is open.
They think so. Yeah, but I don't think so. I mean, I can feel it because I've been standing here pretty much every day. It's people who are visiting, who doesn't look like Japanese. It's people who live in Japan actually, not visiting, because I heard that they have too much struggle, too much problem to get in Japan, taking time, organizing visa, all that stuff.
I know. I
had to. You had to do. Yeah, that's the thing. So it's like Japan is not that country that want to go. When you feel like go. So they officially government said it's kind of start opening the border, but I don't think it's right. It's true.
Have you had any good tourists come into a coffee shop?
This coffee shop,
No,
not at all.
at all.
Not at all.
Wow.
I've seen on the street some, but not in my shop.
Okay. And many of the tourist souvenir stores are very, very empty. Do you think that maybe they have been affected even more than you?
more than me or even same as me or
Yeah.
less than me, but yeah, I think pretty much similar.
And if you have a message for foreigners,
Well, yeah, I mean, I want you to come back.
So I think this will probably conclude this video. If you do come and you're in the area, please visit the coffee shop. I'll leave all the information for you. And maybe you want to bring a postcard to add to the collection. I gave them one of my postcards. Maybe you'll spot it in there. It's been a very interesting experience. It's actually made me kind of sad to see so many places closed, so many places finding it difficult with no tourists. Like he said, he had been waiting for 2 hours for customers. And before I got there were, just as I was arriving, maybe there were like 2 Japanese people. The area is definitely very quiet, less than half, certainly less than half of people. Anyway, if you did like this video, you found this informative, you found it interesting, I hope that you did. And if you're watching this in the future and we're over it and Japan has reopened, which I hope will be the case, then I still think it will be interesting, and I hope that you will find it fascinating. What is Fushimi Inari like, and this area in Kyoto, one of the most famous areas in the whole of Japan, like during or hopefully towards the end of COVID, with no foreigners. Anyway, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more information and for other things, and leave a comment down there and let me know what you think. See you. Bye.